Okay, we are good to go.
We're good to go. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Pearle Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustee meeting. I'm going to first start the meeting with a missive from Governor Baker regarding remote meetings. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, this meeting of the Crawford Library Board of Trustees will be conducted in total or in part via remote participation. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at dudleyma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner: via Facebook Live and or posted link at dudleyma.gov following the meeting. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. A roll call vote is required for all votes taken under this order. Okay, we will let's do a quick roll call of everyone here in attendance. Patricia Korch here.
Richard Clark here.
Joyce Narodzinski here.
Harrison Records here.
Stephanie Ford here.
Richard?
Hey, Richard already, he overlapped with Ben.
Oh, okay, very good. And Drusilla?
I'm here.
Yeah, here. Okay. Thank you for managing the meeting for us, Drusilla. And so we will call to order at 6:21 p.m. We'll start with the review of the April 28th, 2020 meeting minutes.
Having read them online, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Have to do the
We
roll
have to
call.
do a roll call.
Yes.
Ben Craver, yes. Okay. Patricia Korch, yes.
Richard Clark, yes.
Harrison
Stephanie
Records.
Ford, yes.
Joyce Narodzinski, yes.
Harrison Records, yes.
Thank you. Okay, approved and unanimous. Okay, director's report. List programs.
Programs, so Lita and I have been working to reach out to our various scheduled summer reading people. Some things, there's just no way to move online. But we've been trying to work so that we'd have maybe one special program a month for summer reading that would be virtual in some form or the other. We've also reached out to Deb Hudgens, who does our music and movement. It's very, very popular, and talked to her about working something out. It looks like right now, what she and Lita were talking today, that she's doing like mini versions of, because of course it's you can't do any of the interactive stuff, it's hard to do. But mini versions of her programs for $20 a pop. So I have reached out to the friends about paying for that. It looks like we'll be able to start doing that in another week or two. And we probably do one, we're thinking, and again, it depends on the friends, but we're thinking one every other week to sort of supplement our virtual programming. We have reached out to all of our scheduled presenters through, we've now canceled all the way through June. And some of them we're kind of working with what the options are for online. But at the moment, I'm not scheduling anything definite online except a couple, like the summer reading kickoff, because we want to see how that goes before we start spending money on the.
What is the theme this year?
It's tell your own story. So it's storytelling and fairy tales. So we had already, the kickoff was scheduled to be Davis Bates, who's a storyteller. So that lends itself quite well to virtual programming. So Lita's working with him to figure out how that will be. And he is quite happy to do a virtual program for us and then have video be available all summer. So it would not be a one-time only thing. We people would be able
nice.
to access it, go back to it throughout the summer, etc.
Mhm.
So we definitely have him nailed down. Lita was talking today to a couple of other people, so I'm leaving that to her. She's the expert.
Mhm.
And like I said, we've contacted everyone. Definitely, we're going month by month and kind of clearing the calendar and then moving to the next month. Talked to some of the adult programming people about possibilities for virtual programs, but haven't definitely scheduled anything yet. And have a number of people that it's like, well, when all of this is over, what's your schedule look like in 2022? Maybe we can schedule
Really?
that. And they've all been very obviously, they know that this is coming, so they've all been very understanding. But yeah, so that's where we are for programs. And we do Storytime Live Facebook Wednesdays at noon. Rita and I have been doing that. We're getting several hundred views for those videos, not necessarily live, but people watching them later. So that's really nice. We're getting a lot of participation or feedback on videos that I'm borrowing from other libraries. My friend who runs an origami club at another library, we've been posting her videos, simple origami projects you can do at home, and people seem to like that kind of thing. So we're going to continue doing that. And I know other libraries have been sharing our Storytime videos as well, so that we're all kind of trying to help each other out a little bit. So that's where we are for programs.
Okay.
Sounds good under the circumstances. Sounds great.
Yeah.
I have to say, it's really weird doing story time when I'm the only one in the room with Lita.
Yeah,
Like, that's
right.
very strange. And she's looking straight at me when she does it. And she'll be like, and how many bears do you see on the page? I can count, I promise.
You're in the theater world. You can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so we're doing our best to make as much as we can available, online, basically.
Okay. All right, moving on to budget.
Not much is happening because we can't spend any money. So our
Right.
budget looks pretty good right now. You'll notice there's not much happening in terms of materials, especially. We did renew a bunch of our subscriptions because we need to make sure that we do that.
Right.
But all of our book orders are on hold, so we're not getting any invoices from that. Yeah, so not a lot happening on the budget front, basically.
Okay, anyone any questions on the budget?
Nope.
So if I may, anything that is coronavirus related is not on the budget that we see before us. Is that correct? That's on the town budget?
It does not. So things like the face masks that I managed to, all of the stuff that's currently on back order, face masks, disinfectant, whatever, that all goes through a special line item for COVID-19. We are also going to be able to charge, so Lita and I have identified an app to manage summer reading so that kids aren't coming in and doing physical reading logs. That cost is COVID-19 related, so that comes out of that budget. So yeah, it's amazing, all the stuff that we're going, oh, we have to put that under a separate line item. So yeah, none of that comes out of our budget.
Okay.
It's good to know.
Good.
Anything new in the facility?
It's still here.
Yeah.
It seems to be standing. Lita and I have started walking laps because, of course, we're just sitting in here. We're not even walking to like help a patron or something.
Right.
We've started doing laps around the building a couple times a day. It's still here. The only change is the ginormous fern in the reading area got repotted. That was my project.
Oh, wow.
That was Friday. That poor fern.
That was outside for a while.
It's been repotted. We now have about 6 ferns.
Oh, gee.
One. So we're thinking door prizes. First person back in the library when we reopen gets a fern.
There you go.
There you go. But
Have you been able to get cleaning supplies? Excuse me, Drusilla. Have you been able to access anything that you needed in terms of cleaning supplies, or you mentioned masks earlier?
Yeah, for right now, we're fine. We have a lot of stuff on back order. It's a good thing we have an Amazon account. There's some stuff I've been able to track down
Exactly.
on Amazon that we can't through any of the regular vendors. So we have gloves that should be here next week coming. Some insane number of gloves is coming. Hand sanitizer is on order. Disinfectant spray. I like 3 times a day check WB Mason to see what's in, and they miraculously had sanitizer spray. So there's 2 cases of that on the way.
Good.
I mean, it's back ordered, but at least we're on the list. But then there's some things, you know, disinfectant wipes, which we use all the time here.
Yeah.
Manufacturers, it's not even back ordered. Manufacturers are out of stock. They don't know when they'll have them. So that's why I check, you know, a couple times a day. I go, oh wait, I should check WB Mason. But we may not have enough for like several months, but we at least have enough to get us going. And if and when staff can come in the building, we have enough to follow all of the governor's protocols for that.
Okay.
And
Good.
Lita's, I will say, when it comes to masks, Lita's mother made masks for she and I. Very carefully chose a fabric that matched my hair, by the way. And I asked if I bought fabric, would she make them for the staff? Cloth with metal things that go here.
Yeah.
Shapes like that. So I ordered the fabric. It has books on it. I ordered the fabric, and it has gone to Lita's mother. So staff will have the option of cloth masks, and the pattern she uses, you can put a coffee filter in to add an additional layer. So, you know, that was if staff can wear, you know, if that's something that they're willing to wear, at least everyone will have the option of a cloth mask. We'll have library masks full all that.
There you go. What? No logos on them?
I could, I suppose, have ordered custom fabric, but I didn't really think that was in the budget. So.
Yeah, that would be frowned upon.
Yeah, you know, even if it is a COVID-19 expense, I'm not sure about that. So.
Yep.
But yeah, you know, we're stockpiling as I see stuff, even if it's back ordered. If I can get us on the list, I'm doing it. So hopefully by the time it's anybody besides me and Lita in the building, we'll be good to go.
Great. Okay, reopening of the library. Of course, we heard from Governor Baker, and they've set dates, but it's, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound like anybody's really ready to just jump in right at the moment.
No, so there's been a lot of back and forth on the library listservs today. I spent most of the day reading the 14 pages of checklists and guidelines from the governor's office. Most of the libraries in this area are looking to start curbside pickup not before June 8th.
Right.
And those are the libraries that have staff in the building. Lita and I, there's no way with just the 2 of us, especially since I just found out today that as businesses reopen, Dudley has named me as the contact for anyone who has concerns about a business, you know, somebody not wearing a mask or whatever. So that's one more thing that takes me away from, you know, I can't, excuse me, you can't complain about that business. I have to go put books outside. So I've gone through the guidelines. We have a plan in place for whenever we can do things. I have about 4 pages of sort of notes and procedures for what we want to do in different areas of the library. But yeah, one of the big reasons that nobody's jumping into this is if you read the fine print, the governor says that any business, including libraries, must log all individuals who have contact with that business. Well, that includes delivery drivers, which is going to be really fun. But we have the whole library idea of privacy, and there is a Massachusetts law governing patron privacy for libraries. So how does that, the Mass Board of Library Commissioners has reached out to the governor's office for clarification. am I supposed to have a checklist and I have to have a staff member stand at the door and go, okay, Richard just got out of his car and got his books. So
We
until
actually have a form that we have to fill out, and it's 2 pages long.
That's
Right.
the checklist.
Anyone that enters the building at my place of employment, which we're not even
Uh-huh.
allowed back yet, there's very skeleton staff there right now, and it's a 2-page.
yeah, we're being
Wow.
told at the very minimum, we have to do name, town of residence, and date and time that they enter the library. And as I said, there's also a law that says Massachusetts patrons have the right to privacy in the library. And how do you balance, we're logging everyone who comes in?
Yeah,
With-
definitely.
They're trying to just have traces in place.
Yeah, so we're waiting for guidance from the NBLC on that.
The
They-
whole issue in terms of logging functions, because as I read through that, there's also a requirement that you log in or log the cleaning effort that's going on as well. So that becomes almost a full-time function in and of itself. If you're
Yeah, and
logging
fortunately-
patrons or people in the building and the cleaning as well, that's a job.
we would have to disinfect so like I said, we have this massive long plan that Lita and I have kind of hammered out, which I will be revisiting before we need it. But one of the things we would have to do is every time a patron walked up to the counter or came to an outside table to pick up books, that surface then has to be disinfected.
Yes, exactly.
So Lita and I have decided that when and if we are able to provide any services, whether remote pickup or we are going to close, as we do on evenings a lot of the time, we're going to shut down the children's circulation desk. So we can have one staff member doing circulation, one staff member is on disinfectant duty, and one staff member is I need help with a computer, I can't find this book, everything else duty.
Right.
But
That makes sense.
fortunately, we have the cleaning log that was sent out at the beginning of all of this, which I can very easily adapt, but we will have to disinfect. We're even going to have to disinfect the phones in between staff members using it. So just the cleaning is going to be a huge demand.
It will.
And Lita and I were trying to figure out how much cleaning supplies we're going to go through. The size of this building, even if we're at limited capacity, there's all of the hard surfaces have to be disinfected. I will say the American Library Association arranged a webinar with the Centers for Disease Control last week. Some of that did not apply to us because we're in a state that's closed down. So, I don't have to worry about what I do with patrons in the building at the moment. But they did say that their best practice, what have you, is not to disinfect books. I found this very interesting because the virus is only dangerous when it's aerosolized. And when it gets when it hits paper, it goes into the little pores in the paper. And you basically have to rub the paper up your nose, which we discourage people doing that with our books. So they said, every test they have done says that once the virus is on paper or fabric, it is no longer an issue. So we would not have, because I was trying to figure out how do you disinfect every page of the book? And they were like, don't worry about it, it's fine. So I'm going with they're the experts. The CDC knows what they're talking about. So that was one relief for me, at least. And other libraries have essentially said, that's what they're going to follow.
Just an observation, if I may. I've had occasion to visit the hospital fairly frequently of late, and you're not allowed to touch anything, but when you come in, your hands are sprayed with this sanitizing, whatever it is that they're putting on them. And you have to obviously wear a mask. But once your hands have been sprayed, there doesn't seem to be any limitation in terms of what you can touch. Obviously, access is only into the lobby or the very entryways, if you will. But that seems to be the critical point. You can't touch anything before your hands are sprayed, but once you've sprayed your hands, you're seemingly allowed to go in, and I have accessed various things within the lobby area anyway.
Yeah, one of the things we're planning, assuming that our order ever gets here, is the problem. Part of the problem we're having is there's limitations on how much of any product you can buy, so I'm having to put in duplicate orders.
Right.
But we will have hand sanitizer everywhere. We can't require people to use hand sanitizer because there are those of us like me that if we use it, our skin starts to flake off, which is
Really?
not real great. So I do a lot of hand washing because I cannot use it's the same as you can't ask someone with a respiratory disease to wear a mask. So we're going to strongly encourage it. This is the guidance we've gotten so far from the MBLC, is that once we start offering any kind of service, we'll have signage in place that says, per the governor's mandate, we need you to wear a mask. If you're over the age of 2, we strongly encourage you to use hand sanitizer. We're going to, we had fun playing with caution tape today, figuring out exactly how we could secure so that people couldn't just pull a chair out even though we've blocked tables off.
Right.
But yeah, so we hopefully will have quite a bit of hand sanitizer around if watch, it all come in the same day. We'll have 16 cases of it. But we're going to have hand sanitizer out. Like I said, we have, I think we're going to go over it again. We're going to give it a day or 2 to percolate, and then we're going to go back over it again to make sure we didn't miss anything. But we have a plan in place that includes telling patrons, don't breathe on me. Use hand sanitizer, don't linger in the library unnecessarily, that kind of thing.
Right.
And we decided, we did some measuring and such, and we're going to copy the post office. It's not happening in the little post office here in Dudley, but it is in every other post office that I've been to, which is there's a line 3 feet from the desk.
Exactly.
The patron comes up to that line, walks up to the desk and places their book and their library card on the edge of the desk, and then steps back to that 3-foot line.
Yes, exactly.
And then the staff member will go forward, get their stuff, check it out, put it back, and then the patron can come forward. So that hopefully will limit. And then we disinfect everything before the next patron.
Yeah.
So your thought is you're not looking to use those plexiglass partitions in?
The only way we could do it would be to screw it into the frame of the desk, and I don't want to damage the desk for something temporary. Everything that I have seen says that, masks and distancing and then making sure we all sanitize and wash our hands is effective. And it's good enough for the guys at my local post office who are a bit paranoid anyway. It's probably good enough for us. So that's where we stand right now, because we couldn't figure out logistically how to put up any kind of barrier that didn't involve damaging the desk. And I don't want to do that if we don't have to.
Yeah, I've also seen places too putting an extra desk there. So you don't have to ask somebody to step back. You just automatically put that extra desk right in the middle. So a person just steps right at that 6 foot away mark and then puts something in the middle, and then you just are interacting with those objects on a table, and the distance is the distance.
Yeah, our desk is wide enough because our circ desks are quite wide. So if we put something that encourages people to stand, sorry, my computer's blinking at me.
Right, mine too.
If we remove that, if we encourage people to step back, and if we realize it's probably going to take reminders, we did determine we have a stash of exit signs in the shed with weights that are freestanding, and we can repurpose those as sort of freestanding signs. But we sort of worked the logistics today, going back and forth, and we're pretty comfortable. Obviously, we'll have to review when the staff comes in what they're comfortable with, but for right now, we think our plan will work when we ever get that far.
And are you going to be blocking off computers or moving computers?
Computers will be marked as out of order. Every other computer, I can go in through the control panel and mark computers as non-usable. So patrons will not be able to sit across from each other or next to each other. And we're also going to shorten, right now, if you come in and log in, you get 2 hours of time to sit there, and we're actually going to shorten that to 1.
That makes sense.
discourage people from
Mhm.
coming and
Yeah.
just spending hours. And we're not going to extend your time. You get an hour and that's it.
Yeah.
And we're going
That makes
to,
sense.
we're going to discourage people. You know, we do have people who come in here and spend hours and hours
Sure.
working using our Wi-Fi, and they can sit in the parking lot in their car and do that. But
Mhm.
we're going to say, you know, no loitering and lingering in the library itself.
Mhm.
You come, it's like takeout. You come in, you get your stuff, and you go away.
Mhm.
Right. And so have they, or have you and Lita determined the amount of people? What's the percentage of patrons we're going to allow? In, you know how they talk about how many people. How do we determine that?
For us, I mean, the rule we have is 50% of our capacity.
50,
50%
Okay,
of the capacity, because we're not, because of the kind of situation we're in, we're not,
Okay.
we're not like a restaurant where everybody comes in and sits down and spends
All right.
time sitting next to each other.
if I was reading what we were provided yesterday by the MBLC, it referenced 25% of maximum capacity, and I thought we fell in that category of a business as they define it.
Yeah, there's some question about it. We are hoping generally that, you know, people aren't going to come and spend 6 hours in the playroom when we have no toys there.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Right.
the furniture is going to be moved, so there'll be no furniture. All the toys, all the PlayStations are going away. You can't sit and work. You know, it'll be come in, get your stuff, go out again, which will, not that we ever hit 50% of our capacity, except possibly summer reading kickoff, maybe.
Mhm.
All of the meeting rooms will be locked. So you won't even be able to come in and say, oh, I'm going to sit in the quiet study room and do something. Well, it's going to be
Right.
locked.
What is our capacity
That's a
in
good
terms
question.
of what the fire marshal has determined?
It's
We have no
several
number?
hundred. It's
Yeah.
posted
Several
by the
hundred?
front
Okay.
door. I don't ever look at it, but it's posted by the front door, and it is several hundred people.
So even at 25%, we're probably
Oh,
not going to
yeah.
have a problem.
No, I don't think so. But you know, there again, the person who's worrying about logging every person who comes in the building is going to have to be like, okay, we've hit our capacity. So yeah, it's been a long day. I've been, you know, staring at guidelines and coming up with how can we meet that and that kind of thing. Although right now, I said it's all a moot point, but at least we'll be prepared when we get that far.
Exactly.
How is the staff doing? How are they? Are they all healthy?
They all seem good. I talked to everybody last week. I talked to George today. He checked in. Everybody seems good. Everybody is healthy. Some of them are going a little stir crazy.
Like we are.
Yeah, basically just like everybody else. But they're all, you know, they're all hanging in there. I think several of them are very eager to come back. I think most of them are eager to come back. They'd like to be, you know, see other people, be back to normal. And of course, we're all, you know, we're worried about our patrons. We see these people every day, and now suddenly we have no contact with them. So on the occasion, I stopped at Park and Shop last week to grab something from my aunt on the way home, and 3 different people stopped me. How's the library? When is the library reopening? I was like, I have to do something. I need a wig. I'd be less
I was just
obvious.
going to say, you're hard to miss, Priscilla.
Yeah.
They find you easily right now.
You know, everybody
Even
else,
with a mask on.
yeah, everybody else can hide behind a mask, and I can't do that. But you know, our patrons miss us, and we worry about them. And so I think the staff is eager to get back, but they understand that we don't know.
All right.
But yeah, I'm checking in with them regularly. I've checked some items out for a couple of them and kind of waved through the door and been like, hi, look, I see you.
Have any details come in from the town?
No, I've heard, and I did, so I got the email today saying, hi, we're going to designate you as the contact for any concerns or complaints about businesses that have reopened. And I responded with, first of all, you got to give me a script, because what do I say to these people?
Exactly. That's what I was going to ask.
Thanks for telling me, you know. And then I said, by the way, you know, you'll notice in the guidelines that libraries are included, and we won't be able to provide any services without our staff
Mhm.
kind of as a reminder, you know,
Yeah.
hey,
Mhm.
we're waiting here. And I
Yeah.
have not heard anything.
Mhm.
Well, they're furloughing more people as of the selectmen's meeting last night, so doesn't
Yeah.
sound promising.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, but you know, at least everybody is now collecting their unemployment, so we've got.
Oh, yay! That's good.
Yeah.
They're very happy right now then.
You know, but everybody is collecting unemployment. Everybody has managed to get that straightened out, because we had one or two that had. George had a prior claim like 10 years ago, and they were like, well, you have to use the same login and password. And so like,
Oh,
what do
wow.
I do
God.
with that? So
Wow.
he let me know last week that he was getting his.
Good.
Everybody else that was having some issues got theirs sorted. So, you know, at least they're not
Mm-hmm.
completely going without. And I've let
Mhm.
them know if they need help connecting to like the food bank or something, to please let me know.
Mhm.
I will personally go get them a box of food and deliver
Yeah.
it to my house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so everybody, you know, I think we all wish it was a different situation, but I think they
Absolutely.
understand what the situation is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Drusilla. Anniversary event, 2022.
It'll be the 20th anniversary event by the time we're done. We have, again, Lita and I have, you know, as we reach out to programming, that's on our list, to just say, look, we don't know.
Yep.
You know, the same thing we're telling everyone else. Under the circumstances, we're not going to hold it at the originally scheduled time. We'll reach out to you when we can reschedule. And
Right.
everybody's been like, yeah, we figured, you know,
Yeah.
kind of.
Exactly.
So, you know, if something incredible happens and we can have it in the fall, great. I'm assuming it won't happen, but I feel
Right.
it's better to pencil in the date and have a hypothetical date than to suddenly
Yeah.
go, uh-oh, we got to do something. When are we doing this? You know, I'd rather
Mhm.
have a hypothetical even internally, and then, you know, okay, this one's coming up. It's not going to work. When else could we do this? Okay, let's see where we are when we get there.
Mhm.
Dan the dog agrees with me.
Yeah,
There
definitely.
you go.
We get him on the roll call.
I am,
There's a reason I do the meeting from the library, because there would be a lot of barking.
Well, the worst part is they're outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I have
on
one.
the anniversary,
What's
on
it?
the anniversary, I have a comment.
Yeah.
I have no problem in putting it out there that we're not doing it this year, and that we hope to do it as an 11th anniversary.
Mhm.
That was actually my feeling when we talked about this weeks ago, was to project it out till next year.
Yeah, what we've been trying to, you know, when people ask or when we post things on Facebook is being canceled, we've been trying to word it, you know, watch for this to be rescheduled when the world is back to normal, whenever that is.
That's
Kind
yeah.
of, you know,
I don't know
we're
if that's
hoping-
happening, but
we're hoping to do it in the future, but we have no idea, basically.
Right.
And like I said, patrons seem to be understanding about that as well. I've
Yeah.
had one performer who was not, he really wanted to do it, his program next month, and he didn't care what format that was in, and I had to be like, whoa. You know,
Yeah.
it's on hold for right now, because the audience for that his particular event is one of the audiences that I'm not sure would function. Like, I don't know how it would work as a Zoom event, for example.
Yeah.
But 99.9% of people have been like, okay, you'll let us know when it's happening, you know, whether patrons or the performers.
Mhm. Exactly.
Well-
One thing that I've been anxious to hear about is the landscape project and the response from Studio MLA.
And the response is, hi, our office is closed. We'll get
Closed.
back to you. So they have been notified. The other firms have all been officially notified that they were not selected. And now we wait. Part of the issue is, I think that they're in the Boston area, and the guidelines for businesses and offices in Boston are much stricter than the rest of the state. So they're not in the office at all.
Yeah, they're not even opening, you would think,
Yeah,
until
so I
June.
basically said, you know, we're excited to work with you. We want to hold off on some of it until we can do a face-to-face meeting. But when you are back in the office, if there is anything like measuring the site, walking the grounds, whatever, that you would like to do, please let me know. And we'll go from there. So
they're completely closed. They're not just, oh, wow.
no, they are totally closed.
Yeah. Now, did they actually call you back, or?
I got a message. I sent a letter and then I called and I got a message saying, so I left a message and I haven't heard back, which again, I'm guessing if they're all, nobody's there.
I guess I'm surprised that that big of an agency that someone's not getting those messages and returning calls.
And somebody may be, but they're not. I haven't heard back from them. So
I think that somebody be working from home perhaps on that. Because I'm sure that there are a number of projects that they have that are well underway, and then people are very concerned about when they're going to resume. Given the situation, of course, nobody knows anything at this point. I mean, we're all looking at calendars with just blank stares at this point.
But yeah, you know, and like I said, I figure they haven't started us yet. They're going to deal with the irate customers that have large holes in the what have you first. You know, you started my project, you excavated like a pit, and where did you go? But I already have it on my calendar to reach out to them in a week or so and be like, hey, just want to make sure that somebody got this message.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
But,
yes. Ben speaking in. Do we know they know we accepted them and they've accepted us?
Well, there's been no response.
I haven't heard back from them. I mean, they know, they should, that we have selected them. I haven't gotten a response to that information.
I guess we want that confirmation. That's what we're saying.
We're not doing anything until we sign a contract.
I was hoping for a little enthusiasm from them too.
Yeah.
They've all gone into another field. They can't handle this anymore.
Yeah, really.
But you know, I know they were excited about our project. I think it's just with everything that's going on, and they're not in the office, so you know, you deal with the fires that have to be put out right now, and go, okay, when this is all done, we have something fun to look forward to. But yeah, I'm going to reach out to them again next week and just leave another message going, hi, it's us. Remember us?
Yeah, we'd like to hear from a
The minute
live
you hear,
person.
pass it along to us, please.
Yes, of course. You know, I send out weekly updates on the weeks we don't have board meetings, so that would be one of the things that I would do.
Okay. Any board member, anything else, Drusilla, from you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We have I'm sure our ebook circulation is going through the roof. Lita and I have spent more time the past couple weeks walking people through how to download ebooks. So at least people are accessing something.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Any board member comments?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, if I may, it's just good to know that everyone is healthy, staff included, and hopefully that continues, at least as long as it takes us to get all these other things on the table anyway.
Exactly. Yep. Anyone else? Wish good health and well-being to all.
Yes.
As we kind of all make our way through this interesting time, so we say.
That's a nice word to put on it, Pat. It's certainly different. I don't think any of us would have imagined anything like this, and if we had, then I don't know what our imaginations would have been like. Yes, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Then unless anyone has anything else, I will say that the next board meeting will be held on June 23rd. And we'll see if that's also going to be remote. Who knows what happens by then, but anyway.
We'll see.
Yeah. I'll take a meeting to adjourn. I mean, a motion to
Thanks,
adjourn.
Peggy.
Second,
Motion given.
Okay. And second,
Richard Clark, yes.
Stephanie Ford, yes.
Joyce Narodzinski, yes.
Harrison Records, yes.
Ed
Richard-
Krager, yes.
Patricia Corch, yes. Okay, unanimous, meeting adjourned.
Oh,
And
that's
Joyce is
official in
dog,
the
yeah.
background.
Oh, at 6:59.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Priscilla. Bye-bye.